All right. Woo! I've been gone, MIA, for 3 months for good reason, and I am super excited to share it with you. Are you ready? I mean, you would see how excited I am if I wasn't wearing this mask. You ready? You sure? Hey yo! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team SWARTZ 2.0. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you, announcing to you the fourth phase, the all-new fourth phase of Army basic training and the updates and things that you will expect at basic training now amongst the COVID-19 pandemic as of August of 2020. As you can see, I just graduated from the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy. That never gets old, I swear, I love it. Do me a favor, share this video if you know somebody who's already joined the Army or about to join the Army and will be expected to be in Army basic training within the next 12 to 24 months. The Army is forever changing, adapting, and adjusting itself to help by taking the proper measures to prevent or at least minimize the spread of COVID-19 and to eliminate the possibility of catching COVID-19. Normally, Army basic training has 3 phases, red, white, and blue. The Army now just announced that we are now already implementing the all-new yellow phase, which is now the first phase that you, as the trainee, will be a part of before you get to red phase at Army basic training. So like I said, I just graduated from the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy. There it is again. With that being said, I experienced a lot of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you firsthand and how annoying it is, dealing with these safety measurements that were put in place. I'm telling you, it's annoying. Let's get to the bottom of this, and it starts right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team SWARTZ, and if this is your first time here on this channel, welcome. Here on this channel, I post a ton of Army basic training tips, recruiting, and other Army related videos. So if that's what you're into, consider subscribing to this channel, hitting that bell icon so that you don't miss anything, and turning on all notifications so that not only would you be notified when I post a new video, but when I go live to answer your most desired questions. Hi, I'm Drill Sergeant SWARTZ with the New York Army National Guard. I am a full-time virtual recruiter for the New York Army National Guard and a part-time drill sergeant at our respective RSP, or the Recruit Sustainment Program. So if you're looking to join, hit your boy up. I'll take care of you. If you would like an overview of what to expect at Army basic training, I will post a video link that I created going through everything and anything you want to know about Army basic training. You can click that link at the end of this video, and this video will be an update to that, sharing with you the things that will remain in Army basic training and things that will be omitted due to the coronavirus restrictions. So this video is intended to give to you and provide to you the updates and things that you will expect at Army basic training amid the COVID-19. First of all, let me get rid of this mask. I hated this at the Drill Sergeant Academy as a drill sergeant candidate and as a trainee in a basic training environment. These masks are annoying. So first and foremost, there is no more shark attack. You will just simply be picked up and you'll go through the normal process of a shark attack, but without that shock factor of the drill sergeant screaming, yelling at you and making you do corrective training and all that good stuff. No more controlled chaos in that sense, unfortunately, due to COVID-19 restrictions. The first thing that you'll do once you get to Army basic training is COVID-19 testing, and based on my experience, they go with the cheapest route, which is the swab that goes up and down your nasal cavity. And the entry, not too bad. I was actually quite impressed. I was like, wow, this doesn't hurt. Until the person starts twisting it like 10 times. I'm like, all right, you twisted it enough. I get it. All right, I think you got it. You got it. So yes, that will be the first thing that gets done. They'll also give you a snack, and then you'll do a short inventory of whatever you have on you, along with getting rid of some of the contraband, and then you'll take a nap for a couple hours, and the next day, generally in most locations, you won't do anything on day 2. On day 3, that's when you should be getting issued your combat boots and either your OCPs or your PTs. Usually it's your PTs, and then at some point within the next 2 weeks, you'll go and get your OCPs, which is this uniform that I'm wearing now. This is a popular question I've been getting in my DMs. Is basic training longer due to self-quarantine or so on and so forth? Now at the reception battalion, I am waiting to get clarification on certain things on current events of reception. So I'll do a separate video on that, but every recruit that I sent to basic training are telling me that they're doing a mandatory self-quarantine at the reception battalion prior to getting to Army basic training. It is not affecting your basic training. So normally reception is 5 to 10 business days, which is up to 2 weeks. So they're probably just maximizing those 2 weeks anyway while they're in processing you. But this video is all about Army basic training, and basic training is still only 10 weeks. But now they're just simply adding an additional phase, which is yellow phase. Yellow phase is weeks 1 and 2, which is considered controlled monitoring. So they're monitoring for any signs or symptoms of COVID-19 for the next 2 weeks. And you will be restricted to the company area, and that's it. So all training will be done at the company area. Red phase is weeks 3 and 4, where you will conduct the Victory Tower and your Hammer FTX, or your field training exercise. White phase will be conducted weeks 5, 6, and 7, conducting your rifle marksmanship, your land navigation, and your anvil FTX. Again, your field training exercise. Last but not least, saving the best for last, blue phase is weeks 8, 9, and 10, where you will conduct and pass your, or potentially pass your Army Combat Fitness Test, the Forge FTX, which is your final FTX exercise, culminating with a long ruck march, and then, of course, your graduation ceremony. Again, your 14 days during yellow phase is controlled monitoring. You will continue to train, but in a controlled environment with excessive monitoring. If tested positive for COVID-19 upon arriving, you will automatically go into self-quarantine for a minimum of 2 weeks, be symptom-free for 2 weeks before you come back to the training environment. If at any point throughout your basic training experience or AIT, you will be, no matter what, anytime throughout the Army, you will be self-quarantined for 2 weeks. All right, fellas, listen up. All right, I got this complaint from drill sergeants. It's a pet peeve of theirs. I honestly recommend that you do this as well. Get yourself a haircut prior to leaving. Look at Army Regulation 670-1 for examples of what your haircut should look like, or just go bald before going, because when you go there, you know, at the reception battalion, you would normally, in the first week or so, you would get your haircut, okay, to prepare yourself for Army basic training. You are no longer getting a haircut through the reception battalion or the first 14 days of the controlled monitoring during yellow phase. So that's like almost a whole month right there of no haircuts. And that irks drill sergeants like crazy. So make sure you get a haircut prior to leaving and be in accordance with AR 670-1. All right, so let's talk about yellow phase. What can you do? What should you expect? And all that good stuff about yellow phase. And the first thing is maintaining a strict enforcement of social distancing of 6 feet and constant at all times wearing your face mask, even during PRT, physical readiness training, which is your physical training in the morning, and any other time throughout the day, your first 2 weeks. All day, every day, you're wearing your mask. And you will maintain that 6 feet double arm interval between you and your battle buddy. When you're in the latrines or anytime there's a bunch of sinks involved, during yellow phase, you will not use every sink. You will skip a sink. So every other sink, you will wash your hands, maintaining your social distancing. You will not be allowed to attend or cross over into any other part of the company. So in your barracks, there are multiple companies together in the way the new buildings are set up, or at least at Fort Jackson. So you are not allowed to cross-contaminate into other company areas. So you're gonna be restricted. If you belong to Alpha Company, you will only be in Alpha Company area because you are considered contagious, right? You're brand new and you could be carriers or asymptomatic. So you're not feeling the symptoms, but you're carrying it and you have it and you could give it to somebody else. So do not go into other company areas. If for some reason in those 2 weeks, you end up doing training outside of the company area and you are taking transportation via bus, the buses are reduced to 50% capacity during this phase, so 1 trainee per seat on the bus. While they're monitoring you, they're gonna be required to check your temperature twice a day, usually in the morning time, in the afternoon, or early evening. You will wash your hands as often as possible, and when you can't wash your hands, you will use, because it's everywhere, hand sanitizer. So when you're in the barracks is going to be at 50% max capacity. So that means no top bunks will be utilized at this time. So the first 14 days during yellow phase, you will only utilize the bottom bunks, which will be covered by plastic sheets to help mitigate and minimize the exposure if you are asymptomatic or so on and so forth. So during yellow phase, you are only going to be conducting PRT, physical readiness training, at the platoon level. So your platoon generally has about 40 to 60 soldiers, right, or trainees. And that's all you're going to be training with. Not as a company, not as a battalion. Basically the smallest element possible. In addition to that, you are not authorized to use any of the AFFT or Army Combat Fitness Test equipment, i.e. the kettlebells, barbells, hex bars, weights, climbing bars, nothing. Just you and your body doing body weight exercises, and that's it. All classes will be, if possible, conducted outdoors. If they have no other choice but to conduct classes indoors, it will be done at 50% max capacity, enforcing the double arm interval, social distancing of 6 feet or more with masks, obviously. Most of your classroom blocks of instruction will be conducted during yellow phase because there's not a whole lot that you could do within the company area. So any classes that they could give to you are going to be conducted in those first 2 weeks to maximize that not so fun part of training. And you will do lots and lots of drill and ceremony, learning your stationary positions, your facing movements, marching, but you will not do the counter column because of cross-contamination of the air and stuff like that in maintaining social distancing. So with that being said, when you do march, it is a no reply cadence, meaning that the cadence caller, usually your drill sergeant, right, will be sounding off with cadence merely to keep you in step. That's it. You will not recite back any part of their cadence. It's just a no reply cadence, and that's it, unfortunately, and maintaining social distancing of 6 feet. It's pretty boring. I get it. It is what it is. Just drink the Kool-Aid. And of course, you're going to be wiping down and sanitizing the barracks and your common areas daily. Chow. Let's talk about Chow. I've seen this firsthand. I experienced it myself. We barely used the DFAC or the Chow Hall. If we did, it was at 50% max capacity, utilizing the social distancing of every other seat of 6 feet distance between me and the next person. So with that being said, you will be getting mostly hot A's, which is hot food like it would be in the DFAC, but it's delivered to you in these bins and you serve each other like a buffet. Or you would receive MREs or meals ready to eat. I'll put a picture of what they look like right here, and it is what it is. Once you get into white and blue phase later on, then you'll be able to utilize the DFAC at 50% max capacity, maintaining social distancing of every other seat, so on and so forth. And when you are in the Chow Hall, you're gonna follow the Chow Hall procedures, which they will demonstrate to you, but you will have to wear face masks in the DFAC. Until you sit down, once you're seated and you are situated, you will remove your mask, eat your meal, put your mask back on, and go about your business. Normally you would get about 15 minutes to eat your meal, but because of the Chow Halls being at 50% max capacity, they're gonna be rushing you through your meal, so you're not gonna be able to taste it. Just shovel it in. You can taste it later when you graduate. All right, so now you're in the weeks 3 and 4, which is red phase. If you have anything pending for the reception battalion, you'll go back to the reception battalion and conduct and finish up your in-processing. During red phase, you will still continue to maintain your social distancing and wearing masks at all times, but you are authorized to remove your mask when you're conducting the confidence course, which is a series of obstacles to include your fit to win, which is a lot of fun. It's about a mile long of running, right? And a series of obstacles that you will do. It's a lot of fun, but you can remove your masks for those to include any types of foot marches, your combat fitness tests, or when you're on the range shooting a rifle and so on and so forth. Outside of that, you will have your masks on if you're not maintaining your social distancing of a minimum of 6 feet in between you and your battle buddy. So once you get into the red phase, there's no more 50% maximum capacity restriction. You will move into the bay utilizing the normal 60 trainee bay in the barracks. However, although you are now authorized to use the top bunk, but the bottom bunks will keep the plastic sheets in place and maintain that additional protective measure. During red phase, you will continue on with your platoon level PRT. You will not be allowed to work out as a company or do like battalion unit formation runs or stuff like that. You're just restricted to yourselves at the lowest element possible to help prevent the spread of COVID and all that good stuff. So now, as long as you're still maintaining the 6-foot interval between you and the trainee in front of you while you're running, you can now remove your masks, but there's still a no reply cadence. So you're just running with the cadence from the cadence caller, which is your drill sergeant, but without anything resetting back. You'll see. So during red phase, you are now authorized to use the AFFT equipment, kettlebells, the hex bar, the weights, the climbing bars, anything that deals like the 10-pound medicine balls, stuff like that. Anything that deals with fitness, with the Army Combat Fitness Test, you'll be able to utilize from this point forward. However, you're gonna have to sanitize and wipe down after each use. Again, continuing to wash hands often, and if you can't wash your hands, at minimum, you will hand sanitize at all times. All right, so now you're in white phase and blue phase, where normal distancing or intervals is allowed and authorized, but is highly encouraged to continue to maintain that 6-foot interval. But you're now allowed to be right next to somebody, providing that you're wearing your mask. So when marching, you now can march at normal intervals, which is 1 arm's length from the trainee next to you, and you can sound off with cadences with the drill sergeant calling cadence. However, the cadence caller, which is your drill sergeant, can still not look at you when they're marching you calling cadence. If at this point in white or blue phase, if you're taking trans or transportation, you will utilize the bus at full capacity, which is usually around 44 trainees per bus, basically 2 trainees per seat. And of course, you gotta wear your mask. Any building or facility that you go into, you are always going to be utilizing and using your face mask no matter what, and maintaining your social distancing of 6 feet. During white and blue phase, you are authorized to use all sinks during the latrines, the DFAC, wherever. So now, during blue and white phase, you are authorized to do company or battalion level PT. So either you're doing PRT as a company or a battalion, and if you do a unit formation run, you're now allowed to run with cadence calling without your mask. However, the cadence caller, again, must keep their head and eyes forward. And now you are authorized to utilize the DFAC using every other seat, maintaining social distancing. And again, when you're in the DFAC, wear your mask until you are seated. Take it off when you eat, obviously, and then put it back on and go about your business. So I keep getting asked, Sergeant SWARTZ, are we using the ACFT or the APFT? And the answer is, the ACFT is the new standard. It's not going anywhere. The Army has spent millions, if not $1 billion, on new equipment, and even more than that, to put in like AstroTurf and stuff like that with projects that are pending approval and all that good stuff. It's not going anywhere. ACFT is the new standard. However, you are not going to be penalized if you fail the ACFT until at least the beginning of 2022. So between now and 2022, if you pass the ACFT, kudos to you. If you fail it, it's not going to be counted against you. It just won't look good, but it cannot in any shape, form, or fashion in writing count against you. Does that make sense? So with that being said, do your best, strive for the best, right? Strive for perfection and settle on excellence. Push yourself. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, I scored a 534. Based on my experience, doing it the 3 times that I was there in official capacity at the academy, not just on my own, it's very easy, in my opinion, to pass the ACFT. Easier than the Army Physical Fitness Test, in my opinion. But it is much more difficult to max it out. That's just how it is. But in addition to that, if you can't do a leg tuck, they say, based on surveys, that about 70% of females are failing the leg tuck versus 30% of the males. So with that being said, if you cannot pass a leg tuck, you have to at least attempt the leg tuck before you can do the alternate event, which is the plank. I feel that the plank is harder than doing the leg tucks. It's like the minimum leg tucks, just do the leg tucks, right? You have to hold yourself in the plank position, and you cannot move, wiggle, shift, adjust, nothing. You have to stay focused and stiff for those 2 minutes. If you move, terminate it. So it's in your best interest to work on your leg tuck, and I will do a video soon. It's not, I mean, the method I did, I maxed it out at 20, and there's a method behind the madness, and I actually had at least 5 or 6 solid more leg tucks in me. And like I said, I maxed out at 20. There is a technique to it, which I'll teach you. So definitely look forward to that video. There is no Army combatives at Army Basic Training, unfortunately, because it requires you to be extremely close and yeah. So yeah, it ain't happening. However, the gas chamber is back and I got to experience it myself. I'll do a video on my experience at the gas chamber, what you will expect based on my first initial experience back in 2001 when I went through Army Basic Training. At the very end, the gas chamber cadre or the drill sergeants would tell us to take off our gas mask and recite all these crazy things before we get out, and we're coughing and hooting and hollering and snot's coming out of our nose and we're drooling from the mouth and tears are coming out of our eyes. That's not happening anymore. Due to COVID, right? Due to the Rona, you can't take your mask off for more than 15 seconds. So when they do their exercise inside the gas chamber, the only moment that you're gonna take your mask off is you're gonna lift up the bottom. You're gonna obviously hold your breath first. You're gonna take a deep breath in. You're gonna lift it. Once they see that you've broken the seal to your mask, they'll tell you to lower it, you'll clear your mask, and you will continue breathing, and that's it. And you don't take your mask off until you get out. So, yeah. But it's back. And that's great. So let's get to the not so good news about Army Basic Training amid the coronavirus. So until further notice, there is no family day, and graduation day is just yourselves and the drill sergeants and the basic trainee leadership. So with that being said, your graduation ceremony will be broadcasted live on Facebook Live, so you'll be able to send the link home to your family members and they can watch you and congratulate you and all that good stuff. But unfortunately, no one's gonna be able to physically come and watch you graduate. I experienced it myself at the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy. There it is again. So with that being said, I'll post a video right here of me graduating at the Drill Sergeant Academy. And unfortunately, I thought that, my humble opinion, me being as hopeful as I am, I thought that Army Basic Training would go back to business as usual by this fall, and I am wrong. At least for the Drill Sergeant Academy, they've already been approved for the rest of this calendar year and all of next fiscal year through 2021 of implementing these coronavirus restrictions, right? So they're gonna continue on with the distance learning and the 5.5-week resident course and all that good stuff. So the way I see it, and they have a very strong assumption that this is actually gonna go through FY 2022. So we're gonna be dealing with this for about 2 years, unfortunately. So we're all gonna be robbed of our experience of the full basic training experience. It just is what it is. I will be doing videos about my experience at the Drill Sergeant Academy. It's a 10-video mini-series about everything and anything about the Drill Sergeant Academy. So definitely look forward to that. If you're looking to go into the Drill Sergeant Academy, if you want to know what it's about and all that good stuff, pay attention to those videos. Those are going to be popping out soon. With that being said, do me a favor, like this video. Please, please, please share it with somebody that's joining or have joined. I would really, really greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. That's it. Video's over. Sorry, but you could definitely watch more. You can check out this video here, or maybe you can check out this video here. But you know what? Actually, this video is pretty good. You should definitely watch this one. But actually, this one seems pretty great. You should definitely check out this video. But actually, why don't you watch them both? Try clicking them both